Hi, my name is Janeta Šiton. I'm co-founder of RISKTECHTALKS, a risk tech startup focusing on commercial real estate industry. We are starting with this long form of content, which will be in audio and video form, and snippets of it will be also distributed through the social media in order to start discussion about this topic, and especially to highlight the importance of statistical modeling in low frequency data environments. Part of the content will be tech-oriented. It will be done by the other co-founder, Christian, and my part will be more this business insights. Our goal is to start a discussion about challenges financial risk management is facing when it comes to introducing predictive analytics and other advanced analytics, and especially our goal is to focus on commercial real estate industry. We are a startup which is in its pilot stage, so we have a prototype of proprietary algorithm we created for market and for the portfolio level, and we would like to bring awareness to the expert community about the possibilities these kind of algorithms are giving us when it comes to uncovering hidden risks in the market and in the portfolio itself. So one of the most challenging issues when it comes to commercial real estate and introducing predictive and other forms of advanced data analytics is the low frequency data. In commercial real estate, you have data updates once per month in the best case scenario, otherwise it's once per quarter. And as you know, for machine learning tools, you need really a lot of data to be able to process them and to find the patterns. This kind of problem becomes a deal breaker if you don't focus on the other kinds of solutions. In our case, this solution is statistical modeling and different kinds of statistical modeling. This is something Christian will talk more about. Based on these methods, we are in fact succeeding to overcome this problem with the low frequency and to derive behaviors and patterns out of the data we have. As the data-rich industries have problem with structuring of the data, cleaning of the data, in low frequency industries the problem is more in securing the right analytical tools to be able to use the data we have and to derive business insights out of them. The use out of these predictive analytics tools is of course in gaining competitive advantage over other companies and be able to uncover and to see risks which are not obvious, especially when the companies are using the old methods, but also to follow up with other industries, because we are living in a time where the whole global economy is switching to data-driven mode and using advantage of advanced and predictive analytics. So we are in the opinion that the commercial real estate industry should not be left behind, that this is the perfect way to overcome these challenges, to fill that gap and to offer solutions which are very much useful in the practice and which can help companies with their everyday business challenges. So if we ask ourselves how to change the stage of the risk management in commercial real estate, we first have to go one step back. Still, we have lots of companies which are doing the risk management old way, using first of all best and worst case scenarios. So every time new investment is to be made, the investment manager is taking the market report provided by some market analytics provider, which is giving us the raw information, maybe some kind of expectations of the market, which are not necessarily based on some advanced analytics. Then we are making the best and worst case scenario. And this range within the best and worst option, it's based on the subjective expectation of the investment manager or anybody who does this calculation. And this proposal goes as such in front of the decision makers. So we can also do sensitivity analysis where we can change the range of certain parameters like rent, office rent, or interest rate and so on, and see what happens when we change one of them. This is a rather manual approach where the parameters are changed based on a subjective expectation or a subjective assessment of the investment manager and within a limited range of data. So all these demonstrations and simulations are based on subjective expectation and limited data. We don't have there this dynamic range where we can change different parameters and see what's happening in the current time and also what's happening predictably. Also, when we do cash flow calculation, we will do this initial calculation with the price of the project, with the elements such as rent price, such as vacancy levels and so, and we will do this in the beginning of the project, going for approval and leaving it aside. And if something really crucial doesn't happen, we don't go and refresh our cash flow model calculation and change it all the time, although things in the market are changing. So here we also have this very still static approach, which needs manual handling every time we want to get into the cash flow calculation and maybe change something. And again, based on limited data range and based on subjective expectations. Of course, this is the limitation of this old system, and it's quite understandable that companies cannot now refresh every time every cash flow model with the number of projects they have and go and track these changes, because simply this manual approach doesn't allow this. But in the same time, it fails to reflect the real happening in the market, where lots of dangers and opportunities can be hidden. So with every single project, the investment manager has to do manually all these things, implement in certain report, use the Excel list to derive the numbers, and then present this to decision maker, who also doesn't have any deeper insights into the topic. Once the topic is approved, then it's simply out of the sight, because of course companies have to focus on the new deals, and the controlling of the project and happening on the market is based more on these traditional methods. And then when we see the pace world economy is developing with, it's very easy to ask ourselves, how are the companies which are keeping this old system going to compete with such an economy? When we talk about, on the other hand, about companies which are doing progress in introducing digitalization and digital transformation in commercial real estate financial risk management, then we have, of course, the global players, which are already having whole teams and whole departments dedicated to research and to finding the right ways to derive insights from the data and use also advanced and predictive analytics. On the other hand, vast majority of the companies are more focused on automation, respectively on business analytics, where they are trying to gather all the data in one database, to clean the data, to structure it, and then to produce some kind of standardized reports with certain business insights, focusing on the most important risk parameters. What is the downside of this approach? These systems are quite inflexible. So when you want to do some changes, and when something in the market changes and you want to see how this impacts your portfolio, or when you want to change your risk metrics, it's really complicated to do it, because the system is made so that it's company-wide, and that there are lots of departments involved, lots of people who need to make changes, and there are lots of structures to be changed. And here we see excellent opportunity for services as risk as a service, which can be implemented in a form of cloud solution or API or enterprise solution, where we can in fact derive the data we need, analyze that data to get the best business analytics and business insights in the real time as well as predictively, and in the same time being able to change those parameters. So to combine different portfolios, different markets, to combine different risk parameters, to change them, to see how they interconnect with each other, and all this having one app, having that digital access for all of the team members. We see this risk as a service approach as very pragmatic, especially in the situation where companies are really struggling to go on with digital transformation. It's a very costly process. It's something which takes months, if not years, and dedication of all teams. In the same time, the market is happening, the changes in the market are happening, the new business has to be made, and the companies have to compete in the circumstances where the rest of the economy is digitally transforming. So in fact, these companies need a tool to be able to compete, which is flexible, responsive, reliable, and which can be adjusted to any circumstances needed while they are in the background doing their digital transformation and changing the foundations of their business models in order to adjust to the new economy. Of course, this kind of algorithms can then be implemented in their company solutions, but now they are in position that they tried it, that they got used to it, and they can appropriately fit it into their company environment. So if we once more reflect the topic of data-driven deciding in financial risk management in commercial real estate industry, we can see that despite the fact that we have tools such as automation and business analytics in the global economy, where most of the industries are starting to use advanced and predictive analytics, this is simply not enough. We have to be able to compete in same conditions as other companies, especially when we talk within the commercial real estate sector. As we know, the biggest companies are already investing huge budgets into finding these analytical tools which will give them this competitive advantage in the market. Other companies simply cannot afford to stay on simple automation and simple business analytics, even if these tools are also very useful, very crucial in getting that effectiveness in the market. We are in the opinion that every data analytics solution has to have these both elements, automation and advanced and predictive analytics, in order to give companies this real competitive advantage. The fact is that there are lots of misconceptions in the market about the data itself. For the machine learning tools, there is a misconception: the more data you have, the better results you have. And we know that this is not true, that we are then facing problems like cleaning of the data, structuring of the data, and removing biases, and so on and so on. So we need to focus on that data which really brings the business value, which brings business insights, giving us competitive advantage, and everything else which is needed that we thrive in the market. The same misconception goes in the direction of low frequency data, that this is simply not enough data points to be analyzed in order to derive these reliable results which can be turned in business insights and give us competitive advantage. Of course, this is far away from true if we take into account how many of statistical modeling tools we have available, and those tools can help us to establish connections between data, see how they impact each other, what is causing what in the market, in the portfolio, and give those companies great competitive advantage. Focus in 2021 is obviously moving in the direction of a value-driven economy, not data-driven economy, because we have learned that not all data is bringing value to the business goals we have. And there are many great authors talking about this, and we are also quite in the opinion that it doesn't matter how much data you have, it matters what you do with it and which kind of business goals we are putting in front of ourselves. So we have to quite know the industry we are in order to be able to ask the right questions, and then to have these statistical modeling tools and the right knowledge to implement those tools which will give us the best results in order to answer to those questions. So the time to change the way how we make risk decision has come, and we are happy to be part of this story and to help commercial real estate companies to take this next step. I hope this discussion was interesting for you, and that you will join us in the next episode. Until then, please let us know if you have some questions and some comments to add, or if you would like to offer your own insights on this topic. Thank you so much, and until next episode.